You know, you're probably wondering, am I fickle? No. No. I just found out all weekend I was struggling trying to get this Zoom, the new app we were using for the show. And I say "were" in past tense because I have no tolerance and patience for people who have a thumb up their ass. Having trouble for the last several days with problems of connection that they kept pointing the finger at everybody but themselves, and today it wouldn't connect. And so we're back with Hangouts. It's not what I want to do because this will be terminated eventually, but obviously there is a problem. And as long as there is a problem, I cannot use that app because it's more important that I get through and say what the fuck I want to say than it is to have to put up with people and their finger pointing and their excuse making. With that said, nice to see. We got Rox, we got Rick, we got Jake, and we got Brian. So all is not lost in the wonderful world of broadcast. How is everybody today?
Pretty good.
Doing fine. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah, there you go. It could be worse. It could be Tyler Skaggs Day.
That was...
yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just.
I thought it was still Kevin Durant Day.
No, well, no. Tyler Skaggs Day it's like, I don't know. 27 years old, dead, on the road in Texas. And I understand the only things certain in life are death in Texas. Death in Texas. Okay, look. Yes, I can make a joke out of the man's death. It's terrible. But no, I mean, 27 years old and dead in a hotel room, something is wrong. He had pitched to a 7-7 record this year, and there were no indications there was any problem. What a horrible thing for the Angels organization, for his family as well. Just a difficult situation. So I was shocked to read that. And it's not that I really know very much about Tyler Skaggs, except no 27-year-old should be dying of natural causes while on the road. The game was postponed in Texas.
Mr. Rua, that sounds like drugs. That sounds like steroids. That's fun.
You can say that, but something, we don't know that. And the problem that I have is that we find out partial stories before we find out the whole truth. I mean, he could have suffered a heart attack. You don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the guy had a serious drug problem or whatever. I doubt he would have been able to pitch to a 7-7 record, at the big league level. So, no, I don't know that that's the case any more than the other story that is an undeveloped story, which is the Kareem Hunt argument that allegedly was, well, it wasn't allegedly. Part of it was captured by TMZ, the blight of media. I do wish the people from TMJ would just die, or TMZ. TMJ is another thing, and I wish they all had that too. TMZ is this lockjaw media, okay? It's like, God, I fucking hate TMZ. I mean, and so what is the story with Kareem Hunt? Yeah, did he get into an argument with a friend? Was the friend male, female? What was the circumstances of the argument? We get just a little partial story, which gives TMZ all of the hits that they want online, but doesn't tell us the truth. We only deal in truth in this program, not fiction. Brown's organization is going to find out what's going on. And one way or another, it'll be moving on with or without Kareem Hunt. This I can definitely tell you. But today we're here for more important reasons. Want to say hi to people in the chat room. Hello to Amsterdam. Hello to Brittany. And boy, I'll tell you, that's about all. No, we had other people watching, but they're just not. Nobody wants to admit they watched this piece of shit program. That's really what it boils down to. Here's a story I don't understand, and maybe you guys can explain it to me like I'm a 6-year-old. The Warriors thank Kevin Durant, say they will retire number 35. Now, maybe it's just me, okay? Okay. Maybe it's just me. But playing 3 years for a team when you played 10 in Oklahoma City or whatever the fuck it was, or 8 there, I mean, what is that?
I think I know what it is.
What is
with
it?
their fan base,
I mean, Golden State will forget next week.
I-
Kevin Durant was.
I think the only reason why is to take the blame or whatever off of that medical staff that allowed him to play and all the controversy surrounding the Warriors organization for allowing Durant to play through his injury, possibly ruining his career. So this is the consolation prize. And to say, hey, thanks for being here. Thanks for giving us 2 more rings, even though we probably could have got them without you. And we're going to retire your jersey just for the hell of it.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. I'm mortified. It's bad enough, in my estimation, bad enough when guys jump around in the organizations that they jump around in, that a team would lose a guy after 3 years of service because he came in and got the 2 rings that he wanted. And he paid a price, but he got the rings. That's what he came there for. Make no mistake about Kevin Durant. And here's 2 for you, Kevin Durant. Not because you don't have the right to do it, but the decision you made was to go to a team that was stacked, that would win championships. You did. In your 3rd attempt, you ripped out your Achilles tendon. C'est la vie. Okay? You're not going to get, you have no problem. The other team jumped on the bandwagon to sign you, so you'll never see another championship again in Brooklyn. You won't see anything except women getting raped in Brooklyn. There's nothing to see in Brooklyn except maybe you and Kyrie. The bottom line is Kevin Durant retire number 30. No one's going to wear number 35 again, Rick, what do you think?
I'm thinking, meanwhile, Iguodala's going, what the fuck? What was I over there for? I was there longer than Durant. Going to hang my jersey anytime soon just because I took off?
Yeah, I mean, and they should retire his jersey because he's going to Memphis. And he'll be dying in Memphis.
Wait, Iguodala's going to Memphis?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, the rumor has it they're going to cut Iguodala, and then he's supposed to go to L.A. after that to go join his buddy LeBron, who's probably on the phone with him right now.
Last I heard, they might be trying to do a deal to get him to come to Houston. Houston was mentioned in this, too.
Yeah, but I think LeBron has a little influence on him.
Yeah, Steven's not too excited about 90-year-old Andre Iguodala,
I don't want that fucker here. He can go to L.A. with LeBron.
Nah,
the average age of the roster if Iguodala goes there, especially if JR ends up there too. I mean, that whole team's over 30, and AD's the young guy at this point.
Yeah, I guess the way I look at it is the times keep changing in the NBA, and they're going to retire his number. I don't know. And maybe you're right. It has to do that they have corporate guilt over his injury. I have no idea.
I think it is. They're just retired. They said they're not going to retire. They're just not going to let any other player wear it.
Well, yeah, they're not going to let anyone wear it. I think they should sign D'Angelo Russell and let him wear number 35 because they're all a bunch of fucking prostitutes, if you ask me. At any rate, so now all kinds of things just continue on as far as, the free agent frenzy, as it's being called. Look, Michael Prokhorov, all right, if he's the owner of the Nets, right? And then you have Dolan, who is the owner of the Knicks. Two men with more money than Roxanne. I mean,
Hey, about that.
Prokhorov is like a billionaire. I mean, he owns Russia. That's listed as one of his corporate holdings, Russia. You know? But what has he done in Brooklyn? Well, he moved the team to Brooklyn. But what did he do once he was there? This is what he did.
Well, they did fail at an attempt to recruit a big three a long time ago when they got Pierce and Garnett to play over there. Remember that?
Yeah, a little long of the tooth, wouldn't you say? I mean, you know what Prokhorov did? He ran that team into such severe salary cap debt with old, uninspired players that it set them back for years more. This is not a man who's a brilliant basketball mind. This is some Ruski guy who just has a bunch of fucking money. And he might as well be fucking Woody Johnson. He's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. And what do you have in Dolan? Oh, my God. $68 million in free cap space? And what do? So much so that Stephen A. Smith, I mean.
Yeah, I saw his rants. They were epic. They were epic. I was laughing the whole time at work.
You know something? I was hoping that if he has a problem with hypertension, that he just keel over and die of a stroke. I'm sick of Stephen A. Smith. I'm sick of him. I mean, he's like Spike Lee without the talent. It's like, make it stop, dear Lord. Make it stop.
Well, Mr. Muad, to be fair, they said Jay-Z did have a hand on recruiting Durant there.
Well, I'm glad somebody did. I mean, they didn't recruit him. They recruited him in a fucking body bag. I mean, he ain't doing nothing next year. I mean, and you want to see something sour quickly. There's milk if you leave it out of the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And then there's Kyrie Irving, who's stuck playing in Brooklyn for an entire year without KD. Boy, that's going to turn faster than milk. I mean, do you really think, everything was set up for him in Boston. The league literally handed Boston the East. And Kyrie fell off he should never have gone to the coast. It's flat, and he fell off the edge of the world. Stupid fucker. And this is what they got. The Nets now are going to say, okay, you can play here in Brooklyn, and hey, there's always something to look forward to. There's your brand, and Dreaderick's prostitutes, and there's the future of playing with kind of something that resembles Kevin Durant.
Hey, Mr. Muhead, is this all evidence of tampering? Because Kyrie and Durant were predicted to go to Brooklyn before the free agency, before the season was over. And all these predictions are coming true. Can you not tell me this is tampering?
Well, let's look at this from a more humorous perspective, Stephen, rather than looking at it just from the WWE script perspective. I find something really comical about the fact that the league it's so panicked to get Los Angeles and New York back on the basketball map, which God only knows it hasn't been for some time, that they finally just had it with Dolan, okay? Dolan has to sell the Knicks. He does. He has no choice. The league, you know what it's like? It's like The Godfather,
I think New York lost that Mecca aura, that Big Apple. Nobody wants to go there. Not even the shitty players. No one wants to go there unless they're dragging you.
I blame De Blasio.
No. Tessio said, hey, could you let me go just for old time's sake? No, you stupid fuck. You turned on the family. No, it doesn't work that way. So and there you have it. Tessio equals Dolan. He's done. The league has basically said, you know something? Fuck you in the Knicks. Fuck you in the Garden. Just fuck you in general. We think that the Brooklyn Nets have a better chance of establishing themselves than the New York Knicks.
Do you think the Nets, the only reason why those guys went there is because they're in New York? Because if they were in Jersey, do you think they'd be going to the Jersey Nets, the New Jersey Nets?
Haven't you figured out yet? They do what they're told. All right? For all of this, players, rule, and the players are all on Instagram, have their own podcasts, and the players have power with their union, and the player. No, the bottom line is that when you've played in a place long enough without winning, you're sick of being there, and you end up going where the league tells you to go. And look, how bad is it to be in New York City or in Los Angeles? It's not a hard sell. But at the same time, the way that the league gets these guys to go is by getting them to understand, hey, we're not going to deke you here, Kevin. Kyrie is going to be there. And,
Mr. Mr. Moohead, the Nets are equivalent to the Knicks as are the Clippers are to the Lakers, right? So the Nets are the Clippers, but in New York. So if you're going to go to the Clippers in New York, that tells you how much to hate the Knicks.
That's what I'm telling you. It's done. The league has just decided that enough of Dolan, enough of this stupidity, and he can have his $68 million in cap space, and fuck him. It's not ever going to work there. And so we got to try to resuscitate, the league says. Adam Silver, he said, I need a Jewish stronghold in the NBA.
Mr. Moohead, if Leonard goes to the Lakers, you're going to have Davis, Kuzma, LeBron, Leonard, Rondo at your starting five.
And no bench to speak of.
They're going to need a bench at that point. They don't need a bench. They got 65 wins right there.
Warriors were injured and had no bench.
But
You're high.
You need bodies. You do need bodies.
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, everything old is new again. So you're going to end up with Pat Riley's Showtime Lakers, and you're going to end up with Clyde Frazier and Willis Reed and the New York Knicks with Bill Bradley and all that. I mean, what difference does it make? It's always going to end up the same thing. And they had to do what they pulled the trigger. They had to do it because New York teams suck donkey dick. And what the real funny part of this is they're counting that Prokhorov is going to know what he's doing. And Prokhorov knows nothing. We'll do the generalized Prokhorov impression so that everyone, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I got $1 billion and I don't know what to do. I mean, he's got Kyrie, who's, oh my God. I mean, at this point, this is how much respect I have for him and his father. Okay. It used to be this much for just his father. Now it's this much for both of them. Okay.
He's injury prone and throws his players under the bus too.
Three knee surgeries and a guy coming off a ruptured Achilles tendon, and Prokhorov is a genius. Oh, wow, he set it up, man. He really did a job, didn't he? It's like, you wait till Kyrie does one of his Uncle Drew moves and the knee just falls off half court. I mean, hey, Kyrie, you left something back at midcourt. I think it was your kneecap. I mean, wait till it happens, and it will happen. Because this isn't the way. This is a league initiative, and it's the only way that they could immediately try to get both cities up and running. It's not going to work in New York. It won't work for the Brooklyn Nets. Not with these two owners in New York. It ain't going to work. Because, I mean, let's be honest. It might be amazing if it works in Los Angeles with Jeannie Buss. I mean, what we know about Jeannie Buss is that she was able to keep her ex-husband's interest long enough to keep him hard for more than 5 minutes at a time. Okay, but Jeannie Buss is an owner. No. Rob Pelinka, who's not going to attend meetings with free agents. No. Yeah. Magic Johnson, who isn't working for him but kind of is, but then realized, oh my God, I'm not allowed in that meeting because he doesn't know the rules. That Magic Johnson.
It's weird how they're having Magic Johnson work. I'm like, did they hire him again? And my buddies who were Lakers fans like, no. I'm like, well, then why the fuck is he part of this then? What are they paying him? Like, here's $50. Go talk to this guy,
I have no idea. Obviously, the people, the Kawhi Leonard's people wanted him there, but he can't be in the meeting because he's not allowed by league rules.
You might as well retire him back.
Look, nothing new for Magic. Magic was caught for tampering like 3 times while he was GM because he never knew the rules. He never knew no, he did. He got fined for tampering 3 times. I mean, this is a guy who doesn't know the rules. He never understood how to be a front office guy. He didn't know.
Not only they know the rules, but Lakers have had a history of making bad trades and giving teams a shitty end of it while they get the good players. Paul Gasol, Kobe Bryant. And then they were able to do this trade with the Pelicans, getting a star back without having to give up Kyle Kuzma. That's crazy. How they're able to play with this.
Let me explain something to you. If you are an important gay person from the Midwest and you go to the gay pride parade, all right, you get introduced to George Takei. All right, that's just the way it works. Oh my. That, and so you get to take a selfie with George Takei and pretend like Sulu's sucking your dick or whatever it is. There it goes. Boom. When you end up in LA, you end up with the Lakers. You got to be there with Magic because Kareem doesn't want to fucking be there. Kareem couldn't care less about this shit. But Magic is a Laker for life.
I didn't know he got fined 3 times for tampering, though.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's pathetic.
Once for appearing on fucking Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was like
Blabbed his mouth on Jimmy fucking Kimmel and got fined.
What can I tell you about Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson invested in inner city movie theaters just before Netflix came into view. I mean, the guy has he was a great basketball player, okay?
Well, he does also own Fatburger. Let's give him credit for that.
Yeah, look, here's what I can... Fap Burger? Oh, that's Tony the Calf's favorite. I'm sorry. Fap Burger.
I thought that's where Fish Basket worked.
But I mean, I look at Magic Johnson and it's like his late night talk show. I don't know if you remember Magic's late night talk show. It was as bad as Chevy Chase's, and that's hard to do.
Probably about as long as his coaching career too.
Oh, 2 weeks. Yeah, he quit in 2 weeks.
Yep. But there's 2 things. Magic has rings and he has AIDS. Okay? Those are the 2 things, or HIV. Those are the 2 things that we know about Magic. But in business, no, you don't invest in inner city movie theaters. People, it's like, oh, well, don't you realize people are live streaming movies? What's that mean? It's like, thanks, Magic, move it along. Yeah, so it's just another way that the Lakers, so Magic figured he could be in the meeting, but he didn't know the rules. So the organization set him straight. So now he's
already been fined for tampering, and he was still GM. So what's the point? What difference does it make at the end? What is tampering? What is it now? What is the can't even enforce it?
Now ESPN is beautiful. ESPN is the mouthpiece for the NBA, right? And this is their take. Look at how many teams now have a chance to win the whole thing. Well, you've got the Lakers. You've got the Nets now. It's like, wow, but there's so much more. I mean, the Warriors are still the Warriors. I mean,
And why would the Nets trade Russell to the Warriors of all teams? Like, why would you make a team that's already had so much success stay successful?
Because you just, at this point, you want there to be a little bit more parity amongst a few more teams, all right? So what do the Warriors do? They retire they don't retire number 35. They say nobody's ever going to wear it again. Yeah. All right. And then they give Klay Thompson $190 million just so they can just hang in there. Meanwhile, you have, get this. This is how you know ESPN is pathetic. I'll read this to you. Meanwhile, the Northwest Division has turned into an arms race with the Utah Jazz loading up their team by trading for Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, and Ed Davis. Who?
And that's the starting lineup. It's going to be Bogdanovic and Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley and Gobert.
I mean, really, that's the best that they can come up with of how the Utah Jazz, the Utah Jazz did something that was just tactless. I mean, why didn't they just let Kyle Korver retire in Utah? Why would they get rid of him and make him go? Where did they make him go to Memphis too?
He's in New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans. That's where they made him go. I mean, that's
Reddit. Wow.
I feel badly for him.
Reddit there too.
He's happy in Utah. My God. Then get this. The Denver Nuggets, ESPN says, hey, they got Paul Millsap. $30 million to keep him and lock down Jamal Murray, the guys they didn't win with before.
Yeah, they'd be better off with signing Ronnie Millsap.
That's right. Then there's this. The Portland Trailblazers.
There's your country music reference of the day.
They re-signed Damian Lillard and Rodney Hood. I mean, really?
Oh, they've brought on Whiteside.
24%. Rodney Hood, yeah. The Dallas Mavericks, hey, they re-signed Porzingis. And who could forget the Pelicans, who now, they actually signed a fairly
I
sober.
thought they were dealing Porzingis.
They were what?
I thought they were dealing Porzingis.
No, the Mavericks.
No.
No, they re-signed him.
Yeah.
Yep.
You missed the big one. What about the new super team with DeAndre Jordan also going to the Nets?
Oh, I mean, give me a break. Just foul him and you can get him off the floor anytime you want. I mean, what kind of stupidity is that?
Michael Jordan.
You know what the funny thing is about DeAndre Jordan? The implication of him being able to do anything for you at all offensively is predicated on the alley-oop pass. But who's going to throw him the ball? I mean, this is so stupid. Like, Kyrie was always – I mean – fucking A. I mean, Colin Sexton throws a better alley-oop pass than Uncle Drew. Please. Uncle Drew throws them to himself off the backboard.
And allegedly, DeAndre Jordan's best friends with Durant, and the way the Knicks treated DeAndre Jordan by starting younger guys over him, he got pissed and allegedly told Durant not to come to the New York Knicks.
Well, I mean, and so the Pelicans have J.J. Redick now and Derek Favors.
They got Derek Favors?
Yeah, they got Derek Favors as well. Yeah, that's right. And then the Clippers, they still have a chance at Kawhi Leonard. Yeah.
They re-signed Patrick Beverly. That's all I heard.
And then we have the Boston Celtics. Hey, let's replace Uncle Drew with Kemba Walker. First of all, I always felt that Kemba Walker should have been a character in Roots. I mean, give me a break, Kemba Walker. I'll do my Kemba impression. Hey,
do we need to?
I mean,
need to take a hacksaw to his left foot.
Look, what has Kemba Walker ever won? And what has Kemba Walker ever done without the ball in his hands? I mean,
I agree.
He's a volume shooter, so they're replacing one guy with another guy, and he's not as good as Uncle Drew. I mean, you know.
He did find his cancer, though.
But he's never won anything, and he will shoot up threes without conscience. And meanwhile, Brad Stevens is going, what did I ever do to you people? I'm white. You're supposed to be treating me correctly here in Boston. The 76ers, once they work out the Jimmy Butler sign and trade, they've also added Al Horford.
So it's supposed to be Horford, Embiid, Richardson, not Butler because he got traded. Miami. And who's left?
Harris. Tobias Harris.
Yeah, Tobias got re-signed, got signed.
Simmons. Yeah, and Simmons. That's a starting five.
Yeah. So, and who really cares about the 76ers? It just doesn't mean anything. It's fucking Philadelphia. Now you have the Milwaukee Bucks who had to get rid of Malcolm Brogdon because of cost reasons. All right. So they kept Chris Middleton and Brooke Cigar Store Indian Lopez. I mean, please.
They brought in his brother too, Robin. Robin's going to join him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're going to have an Indians on both sides of the door.
Wasn't there a group called the Bee Gees? There was a brother Robin.
Yeah. Robin Gibb.
I know. Yeah. May he rest in peace. So now the whole thing is, Chris Middleton, we want you to stand way over there. Brooke Lopez, way over there, and just let Giannis do it all by himself. And it's like, really worked last year, didn't it? Then the Indiana Pacers, hey, we have to have a big two there. Brogdon is going to join Victor Oladipo, where he'll never see the basketball. Isn't that wonderful? And the Detroit Pistons, they're in the running because they got Derrick Rose. They get herpes. I mean, come on.
Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin. Oh, God.
Are there two more broken down players than them in the league right now?
Yeah, I mean, then they're saying even if Kawhi Leonard moves on, Siakam and Kyle Lowry will keep Toronto dangerous. Yeah.
Oh, no way. No way. They barely won with Leonard. Just imagine when he leaves.
I mean, my God. To me, I was thinking to myself, no, I'm not going to say that because it's too cruel and it's too soon. I'm not going to make dead people jokes when they just died. I'm sorry, I won't do it. Even I have a moratorium for those sort of things. But I guess that's the whole thing with the NBA is you just got to make it exciting, even though there's really only a select few teams that will even have a chance to win the championship when all is said and done. And that I have no interest in any of this except to laugh because the league is like being the league.
And Mr. Muad, check out the New York Knicks projected starting lineup this year. Bullock and RJ Barrett, Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson, Julius Randle.
Julius Randle.
$20 million man.
They said they're all in on 2021. I'm like, who are you going to get with those guys, though? Like, Julius Randle's the only decent, attractive guy, but he's not going to attract a big free agent there or marquee free agent.
It's terrible. Then the Blazers are getting Hassan Whiteside, and
Yep.
It's like the only good news about that is maybe he'll drown in the Pacific because it didn't happen in the Atlantic. Okay, it's
Or beat up by Antifa.
Yeah, I mean, my God, so they gave up Mo Harkless and Myers Leonard for the big enigma. That's my nickname for Whiteside, the big enigma.
I honestly felt like Portland won out of that deal. I think the Heat lost out of that deal.
Well, I mean,
my opinion.
It's all relative. I guess the way I look at it is it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Klay Thompson accepted his $190 million. Why wouldn't he? He's won the rings. He's comfortable there. He's going to be loved there forever. And so why not?
And he gets a year off, too, for the torn ACL.
That's exactly right. I mean, God almighty. It's like it's almost as good as this thing for Drederick. He'll have all of his horrors that he can go see in Brooklyn.
I feel bad for DeMarcus Cousins. They said he may reunite in Sacramento. I said, oh, God, he has the worst of luck out of all the players.
No, that was the funny thing is that somebody mentioned to Stephen A. Smith that, hey, the Knicks could still get Boogie Cousins, and he about lost his mind at that point. It's like, if that's what we're playing for, there's just no point in this. Unbelievable. So, and of course, the Warriors finalizing the D'Angelo Russell thing, another guy who's never won anything, and until very recently was really kind of looked down upon. And they ended up paying him $117 million, and D'Angelo Russell, it's easy to play loose and free when you're playing for the Nets, and they are expected to lose. But when you're expected to win, it's a very different story. So I don't see a big win for the Warriors in that.
No. They're just waiting until Thompson. I think he was just I think he was just there to substitute for Thompson and then try to make a big three out of that. That's what I think.
Meanwhile, the Heat do complete a 4-team trade for Butler. That was just, you knew that was coming. A 4-year, $142 million contract from another guy who can't play with other players, Jimmy Butler, who's never won anything. I don't know. I mean,
to pass in Miami. There's no one to pass to. So
it's not so great. So, and it was interesting because I was reading an article by Terry Pluto. I know.
Terry Uranus, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's reading these things. I mean, after the fact, when did Terry Pluto have anything bad to say about Kyrie Irving? All the years that he was out there, and now he's saying, "Of course, I knew. I knew that he was a problem all along." And it's like,
I knew he was a problem when he sat out of the Eastern Conference Finals and didn't even show up to Game 7.
Terry Pluto has his finger on the problem, and the problem is his penis. Okay? I hope that clarifies things for people. For Cleveland Cavaliers fans, listen to this. This will tell you how an organization goes ballistic and just sinks into the trenches of life. Who are the Cavs' 5 highest paid players? Well, Kevin Love makes $29 million a year. All right. Now he can play basketball. Tristan Thompson gets to have his dick in multiple women and make $18.5 million. And I don't know what Tristan Thompson does for $18.5 million, but the real killer in this is J.R. Smith, $15.7 million for untying people's shoes on the street corner. I mean, what in the fuck is that? We picked up Brandon Knight, who's owed $15.6 million, and Jordan Clarkson at $13.5 million. And you're wondering why the Cavaliers couldn't be active in free agency? I mean, you know, they're trying desperately to find a way to get rid of J.R. Smith, but they're going to end up holding the bag on all of this shit. You know, they're going to end up having to pay the vast majority of this money just to get these people off the payroll. They're going to have to pay. I know it's crazy, but that's basically, and people praised, you know, Dan Gilbert, and rightfully so, because he continued to put money into the team, and they didn't go the cheap route. But there's no reward in the end for this, because you end up having to get rid of players and still pay the money and rebuild the team. So the Cavaliers basically said we just had to get rid of whatever we could get rid of so we can get, you know, the kid from Belmont, Windler, is that his name?
Dylan, yeah. They still owe money for a few coaches too, don't they?
Oh, I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, there is the explanation of the salary cap situation is very confusing, but the bottom line is when you see the amount of money they owe players, and you know the fact that some of these players are going to be gone in 2019, 2020. There's 3 players specifically who they could be moved in the middle, you know, at the trade by the trade deadline, and the Cavaliers might get, you know, a couple of hefty glad bags for him, you know, but there's nothing that's really going to happen of any great significance.
And Mr. Moorhead, did y'all sign J.R. Smith? Because they said allegedly LeBron's recruiting him to come to the Lakers.
No, I mean, we're trying to make an agreement. You see, what happened was his agent gave the Cavaliers an extension to the middle of July, or perhaps even the beginning of August, to get a deal done so that they can mobilize the trade. But I mean, in the end, I would imagine that, and I don't even know that LeBron wants him anymore after all the goofiness that went on. I don't know anybody that would really, you know. And meanwhile, we have Dr. Terry Pluto saying Achilles tendon injuries are nasty, especially for players in their 30s. Thank you, Terry. I mean, that's really deep. Yeah. I mean,
that's my question. How does his agent have any say on where he should go? When to be traded?
Repeat again. I'm sorry, Jake.
How does JR's agent or himself have any say on where he should go and giving requests? Like, I don't understand.
You know what? I can't explain this because it's the way the league is structured. I mean, there are the must-have players, and then there are the people who wind up, you know, waving towels at the end of the bench, you know? And I'm not going to compare him to Channing Frye because Channing Frye is a good guy. I will compare J.R. Smith to J.R. Smith. And the fact of the matter is that if he can have a seat at the end of the bench on a team that wins, he'll just be happy being his idiotic self. And there is, you know, there's coming out of school where you sign your rookie deal. And then there's your first free agent contract. And then if you even become better, there's the second one. After that, the league is set up for you to become not even a secondary, but a tertiary player who holds on to 1 or 2 more years in the league with a seat at the end of the bench. And that's how it works. But you're still getting paid, right? And you can still say that you're playing NBA basketball. That's it. That's the whole deal. I mean, it's.
But Mr. Moorhead, at all these trades that happen, there's no significant trade that's going to guarantee a championship for any of these teams. I mean, maybe if Leonard goes to the Lakers, you can make the argument the Lakers will probably be the front runner. But out of all these trades so far, there's no guaranteed victor. Like Eastern Conference, that's a shakeup now. Just roll the dice and then see which name comes out of the hat. There's no runaway winner in the East.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Pennywise is in the chat room saying you need to be on ESPN. Yeah, wouldn't that be a hoot? Could you see me on ESPN? That would be one of the funniest things that would ever happen. My God.
You would have to talk amazingly well about the NBA and be totally lying to yourself.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I would look at Stephen A. Smith and I would say, Stephen, for God's sake, you make more money than Roxanne, okay? I don't know what this is all
Stephen
about.
A's net worth is $15 million. I looked it up the other day.
If he makes 15 million,
He's worth $15 million. Like that's how much he has. That's how much he's accumulated.
wow.
Yeah, I looked it up.
That's not fair. That's not fair at all.
I thought he earned more than that.
Yeah, I know.
What's
God
sad
almighty.
is he was a legitimately good writer, and then he became this and made more money doing this.
Yeah. And then Derek Frisbee in the chat room saying, my Chromebook, Mom took it away from me. No, he said, if Kawhi doesn't sign with the Lakers, then I won't come back on Moohead Radio again. Oh, promises.
Don't threaten us like that.
I mean, my God. So if Kawhi ends up going with the Clippers instead,
I would like that.
and so would I, based on what Derek Oh, God.
Basically, it'll be a Clippers-Lakers Western Conference Finals, in my opinion. That's what I think. I think the Rockets took a big L, only having 2 stars. I mean, we re-signed Rivers for 2 years. We re-signed Gerald Green for the veterans minimum 1 year, and we matched Daniel House Jr.'s. So we're bringing him back. But other than that, we lost in Nene. He opted out of his deal. Kenneth Farid's a free agent, so I don't know if they're going to re-sign him. But we need to make some moves.
Yeah. I mean, your Houston team is done. Nobody's even talking about the Rockets anymore. So it's really, I do love the headline. Cleveland Cavaliers were expecting a quiet NBA free agency. Well, of course. I mean, what else is there? I mean, Gordon Gunn could see that as clear as day. Enough. I have no more to say about that. Is there anything else breaking on the Kareem Hunt thing, or is this just still TMZ? How many hits can we get? A small argument. I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. The Browns should understand after the whole Josh Gordon thing that, people rarely escape their pasts when their pasts are either brutal, violent, or addictive, and I don't know. And the whole thing with Brady was throwing to Josh Gordon. I don't know if you read that story, that just, outside of football activities, just basic, his own personal workout. He was, he was passing to Josh Gordon, but he was passing a spliff to him. So.
Didn't drop it once, did he?
God. So I don't know. We'll talk about Kareem Hunt when I know more about Kareem Hunt. But I mean, I love it. This headline. How many times have we heard this in Cleveland? Are the New York Knicks cursed? Why would it be a curse if you're a fucking moron? How is that a curse? I don't get it. I mean, just because you have $68 million in cap space doesn't mean that you. I mean, maybe Dolan just decided to stick it in his fucking pocket. I mean, nobody wants to go to Madison Square Garden anymore. Nobody. I mean, Madison Square Garden was something when I was a kid. That was the premier place, That's where Ali and Frazier fought in 1971, Yep. I mean, Madison Square Garden. That was all those Clyde Frazier and Bill Bradley and Willis Reed and Dick Barnett, and how many other Knicks can you mention? John Lucas. How many others can you mention, Rick?
Bill Bradley, Dave DeBusschere.
DeBusschere. There you go. Yeah.
Trying to remember the coach, Red. Who was
Red? No, the coach of the Knicks back then.
I keep thinking Klotzman, but I might be wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. That may be right. That may be right. But the Madison Square Garden, I mean, the mecca of boxing. And now, I mean, what does Madison Square Garden really mean? It's not a mecca of anything. I just don't understand the idea of anything being cursed. It was like, are the Browns cursed? It's like, yeah, they're cursed that they have a stupid owner, or they were cursed that they, that's not cursed. That's just predictable,
Madison Square Garden should be a place you want to play at, not a place you don't want to go to.
Well, I mean, actually, there's no home court advantage. There's no vibe there anymore, and it's really the biggest thing about the Browns. The Browns playing at a decrepit municipal stadium. That place had a vibe to it. Of course, it was urine pouring out of the men's room, but still, there was a vibe to it. But CBS, they were First Energy Stadium. I mean, there really is no vibe because there's no history of winning or recent history of winning. And in that stadium, no, experience in winning, and things change. And the Knicks is bad signings, bad leadership.
Contracts. Amari Stoudemire's contract was terrible. Allen Houston's contract was terrible. They still owed Steve Francis money for like 5 years after he left the team. I mean, it's crazy contracts they did.
You know something, Rick? I was just thinking when I was a kid, I was wondering, it's like, why would they identify a player by his, his off-season profession, like Dave the Butcher,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we brought up his name. I thought of that when I was a kid. Why, Dave the Butcher? Yeah. Wow.
Jerry Lucas played there too. I forgot about that.
I mean, Kevin Knox, New York Knicks, Kevin Knox. I mean, first of all, he's ugly as fuck. That guy is like the ugliest guy. Have you seen a picture of Kevin Knox?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, my God. I mean, Steven, you have a far better chance of scoring with somebody.
You're right.
Brittany's wincing. 50 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. You've got it tuned to me again. And again, the reason we're doing the program the way we're doing it and not the new way is because the new way isn't working and the old way is, and I go with what works.
Mr. Wood, it didn't let you sign on, or what happened?
It's the same thing that's been going on for a number of days. It just refuses to connect, and I won't be able to talk to them about it until tomorrow. But they have a definitive problem in their system, and I don't have time for unreliability. There's just no time for that. I mean, and it's nothing that I'm doing. It's just something on their end that is messing up. So whatever it is, and I will get to the bottom of it. But I'm not going to continue to do something that is obviously defective. It's incredible that Iguodala played 6 seasons with the Warriors. I remembered him as a Philadelphia guy. He only averaged 7.3 points per game in those 6 seasons. And now he's going to die in Memphis. I don't know. Everybody dies in Memphis.
Unless somehow he gets a buyout and he goes to the Rockets or the Lakers.
Yeah, I mean, he'll end up at a team, but he's going to be one of those guys who's, his career will be extended, but, for what, I'm not really sure.
And Mr. Wood, what do you think about Vince Carter going for his 22nd consecutive season next year?
Well, I mean, look, more power to him. It's not like he's making a difference wherever he is, and it kind of reminds me of who is the why can't I think of his name? Sugar Shane Mosley continuing to fight. I mean, what's the point? What's the fucking point? But some guys just want to go on and keep doing what they do forever. I was reading an article about Paul Goldschmidt, the $130 million signing of the St. Louis Cardinals, I mean, it's amazing. They talk about the Bryce Harper deals, right? They talk about the big money, the Giancarlo Stanton deals. But the Cardinals, man, they put $130 million in a Goldschmidt because he averaged 30 home runs a year, 17 stolen bases, 6.1 wins above his replacement, and a yearly averages of a 947 OPS. I mean, this guy was money, but no, not for the Cardinals. He has a 741 OPS. I mean, to put that in perspective, that's down 200 points. only 14 homers, and 0 steals on the bases. I mean, this is the kind of thing that can drive a team crazy. You know, how is it that Paul Goldschmidt falls on his face and Carlos Santana is hitting 290 with the Indians? How is that fucking possible? I'm serious. How is it possible that Carlos Santana is on the All-Star team? How is that fucking possible?
Yeah, I'm asking that same question right now.
Well, but I guess the way I look at it is he's having a great year, but I don't know why or how he's having a great year. I got no idea. No idea at all. All I know is that you spend big money on people. There's a lot of guys who they spent big money on in Major League Baseball, and it came to nothing. It came to nothing. And the Cardinals are sitting at 41-41 and halfway through the season and are really basically going nowhere.
Well, look at the Reds. They made that blockbuster trade in the offseason, and they got a losing record. Didn't even change a bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. And it's just like the NBA, guys getting money, and it's like, phew. The last thing I want to talk about is really kind of more down this way than, up in Northeast Ohio, but it's up to Bruce Arians to basically fix Jameis Winston. All right. I hope he started out by bringing him a box of crab legs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach was the guy who got Peyton Manning going in the first 3 seasons of Manning's career. He had 8 years developing Ben Roethlisberger into the pure raping machine that he became.
Mm-hmm. Help one rapist, I can help another.
That's right. And he played a pivotal role in getting Andrew Luck's career back in Indy. Now he's got to go with Jameis Winston. And, it's just amazing. You look at Jameis Winston's career, he's won just 21 out of 54 career starts.
Yeah.
And is in the bottom 10 amongst qualified quarterbacks in both completion percentage and passer rating since coming into the league 4 years ago. I mean, this is not a guy who's been successful by any stretch of the imagination. And
I think if anything, he's way past his time. He's sort of like Ryan Tannehill of Tampa Bay. He's just there.
This is his option year. He's making $20.9 million. He's going to get a big payday if he has a good year with Arians, but if he doesn't, if I were a black man, I wouldn't trust anyone named Arian. Just saying.
Just grabbing the pussy.
Yeah, for what it's worth, Arians has started researching Winston's tendencies. Well, his tendencies are to throw too many fucking interceptions. That's the tendency. Yep.
So, Mr. Witt, are you willing to go on record to say this is Jameis Winston's breakout year? This is his final year to make something happen, or you think he'll be done as a starter? You think it's over if he can't do anything this year?
If he doesn't do anything this year, he'll become a backup quarterback somewhere in the league, but he's not going to wind up really doing much of anything anywhere. I mean, the reality of the quarterback position is you're a starting quarterback until you're not a starting quarterback anymore. And then you are a career backup. And you see that's what happened to RG3. It's not that he's not still in the league, but nobody will ever take him seriously again because he doesn't know how to throw from the pocket. And today's verticalized game requires that. Lamar Jackson is going to be a guy who has to prove his value, being able to throw from the pocket and not just run. And they can go ahead and put together a gadget offense for him, but the AFC North with the Browns is stronger than it was when they got, Lamar Jackson started in Baltimore. It isn't going to be enough to stand still. You got to move forward. And this is the problem. There are quarterbacks who come into the league who actually maybe have a decent year or two, but they're talking about Mitch Trubisky, that this is his prove-it year. He was a little better than he was the first year he played, but not good enough. And it's just as likely a player like Trubisky will go backwards as opposed to move forward. I don't know too many quarterbacks who break into the league as just bona fide, big time looking players. You know,
I mean, Mark Sanchez had a first 2 good years, but then after that, he fell off.
who did?
Mark Sanchez for the Jets.
Yeah, that's right. But he had noodle for an arm. Everybody knew that. He was undersized and had a weak arm. Baker Mayfield had a historic rookie season. All right. But that's the kind of thing you look for. Ben Roethlisberger was great right out of the chute. He had a really good offensive line, and he was really good right out of the chute. Aaron Rodgers sat for 5 years, but he was good right out of the box, It's really difficult finding quarterbacks who come to losing teams who end up establishing themselves going 21-33 in their first 54 games. It's a hard breaking in the NFL to start losing. Very few guys, there will be examples here. Help me here, Rick, before Young, the left-handed quarterback for the 49ers who got the shit kicked out of him. Steve Young, yeah. I mean, my God, there's a guy who succeeded beyond all rational expectations. But he was playing for a horrible Tampa team. And he was then surrounded by good players, but he was rescued from that. And he was a scrambler, and he's able to get away from trouble. A lot of these guys get bruised and battered like RG3, and whatever athleticism they have gets lost to the shuffle. And it's really too bad.
Mr. Moohead, what are your thoughts on Cam Newton? Do you think he'll ever win a Super Bowl with the Panthers, or?
No, I think that Cam Newton was a guy who, I think that he has arrogance problems. I think that there is now there's questions about arm strength because of what happened last year and whether he's going to be fully healthy. A guy who combined big rumbling physicality and a good arm, but I never got the feeling watching that team play that, and I used to blame Ron Rivera a lot for this because I always felt he was just a defensive coordinator and that the offense never really blossomed under Rivera's leadership. But I guess I just never felt very strong about Cam Newton as far as being a great leader. He sulked too much. Quarterbacks have to be kind of like supremely confident guys and can't be sulkers. They tend to be people who galvanize teams. I mean, the thing I love about Baker Mayfield is that he galvanizes the team around him. He's not afraid at all to speak out. And even if what he says is not going to be agreed to by a lot of people, he's all about winning. And everyone who touches him understands that right off the bat. Cam Newton was more about himself and doing Superman poses and problems with that. I don't think he's ever going to blossom into what people maybe thought he was going to be. Just in time, Bronk, for me to say goodbye.
Hey, Moo, I just got one thing to say. I got good news for everyone. In only 40 days is the Browns' first preseason game.
In how many days?
40 days. So you just have to wait 40 days.
And the preseason games, I just got my re-up for my Game Pass. So, I'm going to be watching the games. I'm going to be broadcasting at halftime and after the games. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And, it's going to be this whole year is going to be a year of really, hopefully, experiencing some really good moments with the Cleveland Browns. So, yeah, August 1st, I believe this year is the Hall of Fame game in Canton. So it's really around the corner.
66 days until NFL season kicks off and 69 days until Cleveland first game.
Yeah, all right. There you have it. And I'm looking forward to this tremendously, and hopefully I'll have a way to broadcast it when the time comes. I got to get out of here, everybody, because it's after 7 o'clock. But thanks a lot, everybody, for joining. Yes, Stephen, you have to interrupt me one more time. Go ahead.
Quick question: Is Leonard going? to the Lakers?
Yes, Leonard will go to the Lakers.
Okay, that's all.
All right. Thanks a lot for tuning into this edition of Moohead Radio. Back again on Friday. We do it all over again. Until then, we'll
make it stop.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'll fill everybody in on where we're going to be broadcasting next. Who the hell knows? I feel like a fucking vagabond. Until next time, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.